The southern end of Sydney's CBD is going through a massive amount of redevelopment. Commercial building after commercial building are racked and stacked. So the question begs, is there a place for good landscape design? Now, Christian, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but we look at a lot of magnificent gardens and I'm not really sure what I'm seeing here. What is this?
Oh, well, I'm a bit hurt actually. I think beauty's in the eye of the beholder when it comes to plants, and this is Australia's first native rooftop farm.
Wow.
And essentially a closer inspection, you'll see an amazing array of edible native plants that you won't find in many of those gardens.
So why here? What's important about South Eveleigh?
So South Eveleigh is almost like a spiritual home for many Aboriginal people in New South Wales, and what we've brought here is Indigenous cultural knowledge to this area. These are our amazing tree trellises that the local blacksmith here at the Eveleigh workshop helped us construct. And essentially they're acting like a beacon for our pollinators, so that we would have liked to have had trees, but the trees would be too heavy to have on the roof. The biggest challenge was actually what could we plant on the roof. We almost had to know the weight of every plant what it would grow into, because the people in this building don't really want our garden ending up in the middle of their office.
What do you mean down below? Are we all right standing right here?
Myself and my partner Clarence and another two of our staff worked over a weekend and planted 2,000 plants, and we made sure we picked the hottest weekend in February to do it.
You must have lost a lot of them?
No, the amazing thing on this project is that normally you might lose about 20% of your stock, but we've lost 0.04% of the plants that we've planted.
Wow,
so
that's
it's amazing.
Remarkable.
Yeah, we're pretty astonished.
Being a Perth girl, this is beach banana, isn't it? And I know this doesn't grow in Sydney.
Yeah, often called rounded noonflower or karkala. Get you a nice little fresh bit there to try. Chefs have been flying it in from Western Australia and South Australia, but now we're actually able to grow it here in this rooftop. So Sarah, now we're in the area that I'd probably call the meat, potatoes and sweets.
What do you mean?
Well, you'd probably recognise this one. You know, you've been to a few race meetings in your time and enjoy champagne.
Well, yeah.
So this is the native hibiscus or rosella.
Christian, I do know that is not a native Australian species.
All right, you've caught me out. I used my poker face, but yes, this is a naturalised species. So it's been in Australia for a long time, but it's considered part of the native landscape as a naturalised species, but not a native.
And saltbush here, is it not?
Yeah, it's beautiful silver foliage. Originally it was used for land care projects where there was rising salt issues, used now for feed for beautiful saltbush lamb, and now also being used in many Asian style dishes such as dumplings and stir fries, and a fantastic plant. And
is this the potato?
This is our potato. So the bulbine lily, and it has a beautiful flower on it here. You can see the native bees, especially the blue banded bee, loves that flower. Was referred to by early botanists as the native leek, and that is a bit of an issue because on a leek you would eat that part of the plant, but on this it's toxic. So it's actually the tuber and the root that we eat. So you don't want to be having any native leek, shall I say. You won't have the tuber from it.
I think I'm going to stay with you.
That'd be good.
So Kaylee, you're an Aboriginal woman and one of only a few Aboriginal landscape architects here in Australia.
Yeah, that's right. As far as I know, there's only 3 of us.
And we have to work on that.
We do. And what's great about that is that there's so much going on right now about Indigenous design that I think we're moving forward in that for the future.
And so what knowledges did you acquire from this project working with Christian and Clarence?
Well, I thought I started off with a well-rounded knowledge, but I've realised that I've learnt so much. There's so many different plant pairings and native species that I didn't realise were here.
And so it really makes sense that this kind of planting and knowledge is everywhere in our cities.
Yeah, I think that there's so much scalability for projects like this to be rolled out across Australia, not just on rooftops, but anywhere where you have the need for food.
I kind of regret what I said to Christian at the beginning of this story, because there's actually something really special going on here. It's about connecting Indigenous knowledge and education with Aboriginal people, the community, and of course making our food cycles that much more sustainable. It's a big idea and I love it. Streets are often the domain of engineers. It's not often that landscape architects get a chance to recreate streets from scratch and build new laneways like Spice Alley. Mike, it's a bustling part of the city. How did you carve out the space here?
Well, it's an interesting story. Stanley Kwek, a Singaporean property developer, promised the Lord Mayor he would create a new Sydney place that would rival Melbourne's iconic laneways. So we turned to ourselves and Tonkin Zuleika Greer with that challenge.
And I can see here you've got some historic buildings. That must have been a difficult thing to grasp.
Very much so. Lots of different buildings. Old soldiers' tenements buildings, terraces, warehouses, new modern buildings. The challenge was how to resolve all those, how to make that a united, coherent space. Very simply in the end, Jeppe Olgo Anderson, my design partner, we were drinking a glass of wine one night, musing over the place, and we just realised what this place needs is a good floor, a good urban floor. So we thought about this idea of a brick ground plane which all the buildings could sit on beautifully and just create this harmony. This is about the grain of Sydney. It's about remembering its past and celebrating that past, cherishing that past, but not as a historical or monument, but something to live in. So it's like an urban living room.
There's something else going on behind these facades though.
There's a little secret in there, Sarah. A fabulous, magical little place. We were standing in this area not long ago and it was just a whole mess of little tiny backyards, all individually parcelled, and he said, Mike, I want to take down all of the side fences and I want to make one space, and made this amazing little intricate micro lane system out of nothing.
It's only been open 3 years, but why do you think this place is so successful?
Well, I think it's just the authenticity. It's relaxed, it's energetic, it smells good.
Yeah, it does smell good, yeah.
And it's so lively. I think people love just liveliness and coming out at night and being amongst other people. This place has got a great model behind it. It's full of student housing over here, university here, Central Park here. So at its doorstep, there's lots and lots and lots of people.
I don't think there's a person in Sydney that doesn't know about this great place.
Yeah.
All cities are in the business for creating attractions, and of course Sydney has its magnificent harbour, bridge and opera house. But this is a different scale and a different kind of intimacy. Australia is becoming more and more multicultural. This project shows us the value of design in creating spaces that celebrate that.